name's Izzy Vine. I'm 30 years old and I worked for the Met Police and I left because it's rotten to the core. Meet Jamie Johnson-Cottrell. He is the current Met Command and Control Director. Now, he's been in that role for 1 year and 10 months, meaning he came into post in roughly December 23. He is the decision maker. Well, I was led to believe he was the only decision maker in the appeal process that meant Chris was rehired. In the last couple of months, I was notified that it was actually 2 people, but the Met are refusing to tell me who the second person is. So we'll just go with what we're given. And Jamie Johnson-Cottrell is the director that I met when I wanted to find out what had happened and why he'd been rehired. Jamie Johnson-Cottrell had moved to the Met from pensions, and that was in December 23, and that was the month that Chris put in his appeal. So he's obviously just come into the job and he's been assigned to chair this appeal process. In the meeting in April 24, where I met Jamie with 2 other senior members of SLT in the room, one was meant to be my welfare officer, Jamie went on to say that you can have any opinion you want, no matter how harmful, in the Met. It's when it turns into an action that they'll have to act. I argued, isn't vocalising these opinions count as actions? I couldn't even talk about the following home because they didn't even count that in the investigation. He sort of was like, yeah. He also said that the original panel, which were 2 women and a man, were too heavily influenced by Baroness Casey and violence against women and girls, which meant that they were felt like they had to punish people harsher than what they should, because ultimately he said he found it too harsh, that it was actually misconduct and not gross misconduct, and he doesn't think that Chris should be deprived of working in a civil service, and he shouldn't lose his job. Now, the incident with Chris was one thing. I found this meeting so traumatizing, equally, because I felt like I was just made to feel like I'd wasted time. Everything that I'd signed up to be in the police, this director was sitting here telling me, no, you can just be however you want, it's only until you sort of murder someone, we'll have to intervene. And you know what I find so fucking baffling? When I made the complaint about him in July 24, he was only in job for about 6 months. He would have been on his probation as a director. Now, it wouldn't have been... I just don't understand why you've hired this new director of a massive department in policing. There's a big serious complaint made against him with serious things, and no one acts on it for 5 months. And when you do get round to doing it 10 months later, you think the comments are fine that he made and that you're just sorry. I don't understand how. And when I made a complaint about Jamie, no one ever met me to discuss it. No one ever met me. It took 10 months for it to even be sorted. And they said, no, there's nothing wrong with his remarks. I'm sorry that maybe he didn't communicate them correctly to you. And I'm sorry we delayed. There was a delay in actioning your report in the beginning, and blah 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 blah. And then they even have the cheek to say there was nothing underhand in the delay. It's just people didn't progress it. Well, how the hell can you tell me that? How the hell can you tell me that? So yeah, I feel like outing Chris is one thing, but I just would like to make it known to the general public, and most importantly to colleagues in the Met, that this is the director that thinks that you can have any opinion no matter how harmful and work in the Met, and that violence against women and girls and Baroness Casey bear too much influence on staff when they're judging misconduct. And he thinks that calling a rape victim a slut being racist, mimicking Sarah Everard, following me home. Actually, didn't even count that. It's too harsh to sack someone for that. So I just think it's important that people know that that's the kind of director in charge of command and control, and that's sort of where this stems, like this deep-rooted fucked up mentality. It's so high up, and then it just trickles down, because then you have Chris unable to stay. And to the two, I mean, I doubt they watch, but the two senior leadership members that were in that room at that time, shame on you, because you didn't speak up and you didn't make a complaint, and you were in that room and you heard what he said, and shame on you. And the lady who was supposed to be my welfare officer, who was senior leadership, you were as shocked as I was when I came out. And you even said, oh, he's usually a really nice guy, like, don't, like, what, I'm so shocked. You should be ashamed. And to the man from senior leadership who emailed me after saying, I'm so sorry for what you've gone through, like, who I could tell was mortified throughout the meeting, shame on both of you. Because it's people like you that just enable this shit. And you've gone so long without saying anything, you never will, to protect your job. You never will. And you are letting down the public. And you're letting down yourself. So yeah, preparing for any consequences that are coming my way, but the public need to know I'm not going to be governed and ruled by an absolute farce. So whatever happens, happens, but we all deserve to know.